Hello there lovely crafty friends, it's Terry from Veegstez Creates. Thanks for stopping by today. Today I have a tutorial for you showing you how to assemble the super cute ribbon and key gift box. So as you can see, I've got two completely different styles here. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create this one, but I'll also give you more of a look at this one as well. So let's dive in, shall we? Okay, so the first thing to say is that this box is really quite easy to assemble, as in the instructions are very clear. I'm going to walk you through the instructions of assembling this, but in the way that they are written in the instructions. So if you're referring to the instructions after watching this video, it should make sense because it's all in sequence. So first of all, you need to cut out two of these base panels. Now, to save time, I've gone ahead and decorated off camera. So you get beautiful decorative verso panels. There's two different ones to choose from, but you can also just decorate using patterned paper like I've done here. Just a note, if you're using patterned paper and it has a clear direction, such as mine are roses and they all point up, just make sure that when you're die cutting them, you die cut them the correct way around. I went for a sort of shabby chic vibe here with ballet pink and the gorgeous, I think it's Precious Moments paper, some tan cardstock, raspberry pink, and some embellishment mousse in mother of pearl over everywhere. So it looks absolutely gorgeous once it's completed, and I think it looks really nice with the mother of pearl. So basically the idea is that the ribbons raise up the drawer that you pop inside, so the ribbons raise it up, and then when you close it again, the drawer drops back down and the ribbons go back down, and then your key fits nice and snugly because you've glued four of them together in there to hold it. So I've done mine in blue frost for the base. I wanted all my decorative layers to be done in hollow waves, and then behind the hollow waves is sugared lilac, and then the other colour that I've used for the inner portions is a sea salt green. Just these 4 colours, well, 3 colours, and then a beautiful holographic cardstock which just reflects everything and makes it look super pretty. So you cut 2 of these, 4 of these which are the inner panels. You cut 1 base panel, you cut 4 of the keys and then glue them together so it's nice and sturdy. Then you cut 2 of these little bases because when this is assembled, it's cut to hide the ribbon when you glue it. So you need 2 of them. Then you need 2 pieces of ribbon about 4 inches long, and I've used the 9mm Craft Perfect ribbon. You need 1 of these decorative panels which embosses, so I would suggest using pearlescent card or mirror card for that because it just really highlights the gorgeousness of the emboss. You need 2 shelf panels. So this is the shelf that goes inside that is raised up and down by the ribbon, and that's what these pieces are cut for because the ribbon's going to be glued onto there, so we put that over there to hide the ribbon. And then we need to cut 2 of these panels, which as you can see I've already decorated. On my other make here I just decorated with patterned paper, but that will go there and fit over the top of the key. So you need 2 of those, but then underneath the key again ribbon is secured under here, so that goes on top of there that goes on top of there, and then the ribbon goes through that slot. So I'm going to start actually making the project now. Obviously there's a lot of gluing involved, so I'm just going to speed up the gluing parts for you. So that's the inner drawer adhered, so I'm just reinforcing the glue tabs, which is really useful to do because it helps the paper fibres mesh together, so I always recommend doing that. So now let me read exactly what it says. Cut 2 lengths of ribbon, each approximately 4 inches long. Feed one end of your first ribbon through a slit and glue the last 10 millimeters or 1/3 of an inch inside as shown. So it's really useful the way that they've said that. So if I get a bit of red line tape and my ruler, I get the ruler onto the metric side, and then I can measure. So that's a centimetre, which is 10 millimeters. So then I'll hold that there a bit further up, I try and keep it straight, and then put some red line tape there across the bottom, so you know exactly how much ribbon to put there. See, they've told you the exact amount of ribbon so that it works perfectly, so it's not baggy, and when it's open fully and these are flat, the drawer sits right at the top. So I'm really glad that they did that. Very, very clear instructions. I don't often use red line tape in construction, but because this is a working mechanism and will hopefully be used repeatedly, because this would be such a lovely little gift to just gift some little sweeties or something. You know, you could make them for children or grandchildren, and they would absolutely love it and just, you know, keep playing with the mechanism. So obviously you want to make sure that it's really well adhered, and you need to make sure, this is where the thin glue tip comes in handy, because you need to adhere that other piece, that other panel here, to cover the ribbon up to make it look pretty. So you want to make sure that you've got glue across there. If I'm using glue and red line tape or regular tape, then I always make sure that I put loads of glue over the red line tape so that I've still got the wiggle room that I would have if I were only to use glue. So we can pop that in and wiggle it around so that it fits there, and it can't be seen from the outside because we don't want to see the inner panel from the outside. Not that you can see it anyway because it's all internal, but it's still nice to have the internal parts neat. And again, just make sure that you get this all really bedded in nicely with your bone folder. Okie dokie, so there's the finished inner part. So the next bit in the instructions is to stick all these together, but I've already done that, so we don't need to worry about that. So the next thing is to get our base panel and glue the 4 inner box panels, these ones, to it. So obviously this is the pretty side, so we'll leave that at the bottom so it looks nice on the bottom, and then this is the side that you can see has got the marks on from the die cutting machine. and it does clearly show on the instructions that you have to glue this on top of this and not behind it. So I'm just checking that it's going to line up okay, and it looks like it is. So it's to the score line and not beyond it. We always want to get as close to the score line as we can when gluing things and not beyond it. And again, use your bone folder wherever is possible. I also like to just, at this stage, just remove any bits of glue with my just trusty old pokey tool, because I find it easier to just remove as I'm going along. And it's quite obvious which side you need to glue it to, because these are obviously side tabs that are going to be used to glue the side tabs together, and the pointy bits need to be at the top. So before you commit to the bone folder, just make sure that it looks like it's going to line up properly, which it does. So now we have all of the inner portions of the box adhered to the base, we then adhere the sides together. So make sure that the edge is up to the edge, not beyond it. Try and not leave a gap. And then once it's grabbed, use your bone folder, and then repeat that going round the box. And now we go ahead and place our tray inside of our inner box, and it fits in like that. And then in a moment we need to stick this onto here. So first of all, we need to fold down all of these corner tabs. So if you're wondering what that was for, now you know. So just take your time with this. Obviously it's really tricky to get in there with the bone folder. So just take your time, hold it, and make sure that it's adhered well before you move on to the next one, because these four corners are what support the pretty layer. So now we attach the pretty embossed square with the circle through it, and you'll notice that there is a gap on all four sides. So don't worry, you haven't cut it wrong, or you haven't assembled the box incorrectly or not tight enough. It's just the way that it's made, and obviously it needs to have enough room for the shelf to move up and down. But because it doesn't meet the edges, the best place in my experience to put the glue is just on the corners of the actual aperture die cut, because then we know that they're going to sit nicely on those little triangular edges that we've made for them. But if you stuck it on there, then you'd end up seeing glue. It'd be difficult to judge where to put the glue, so it's better to do it on here. And you don't need to put loads on, but we just need to make sure that these ribbons aren't being pesky like this one. And just remember where you've glued, so it's in the corners. So we just need to try and line it up as centrally as possible. And there's no real way that we can get a bone folder in there. You can get a finger in there just gently to press it, but there we go. So this is where we glue our beautiful decorative outer panel onto here. So then we want to try and get it up to the fold line and not past it, and bearing in mind that this is how it will look. So we just do a little check before we commit to using our bone folder on that, but that all looks fine, it looks even. And then the same with the other side. Yep, that looks even. I really like the colour scheme that I've chosen for this. I think it looks so pretty, really elegant. And of course you could cut a square to add on the base as well, but you don't need to because no one's going to be looking at the base. So next we fold and glue our glue tabs. There we go, so we've got nice crisp folds that go up to the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side now, which I'll cut out. Okay, so now we have both of our outer panels adhered and aligned. The next step is to adhere the ribbon to the top sides, and this is where my suggestion is slightly different to the instructions. They both work exactly the same, so I'll show you what I mean. So in the instructions it says pull the ribbons to raise up the inner tray, and then whilst the outer panels are laid flat, adhere them to the outer panels. That's what it tells you to do. However, what I did when I constructed mine was adhered the ribbon at this point. So instead of opening it, I adhered it here, and I'll show you why. I just think it's easier if I adhere that here and then try not to pull that off with my finger, and then we pull up the tray. It works exactly the same. It's just instead of trying to adhere a ribbon when it's taut, and it might be slightly different on the other side, if you adhere it at this point it's just easier. But I said that's not how the instructions tell you, but as I just showed you, it works exactly the same. I'm all just for doing things a bit easier. So I don't pull it really tight. I still stick a few pieces of red line tape on there. It's also easier to attach the tape this way because you're not having to hold it and at the same time. So I'll do this on the other side, and I'll show you about how we decorate the top and adhere our key. So the next thing to do is we've got this panel and then this panel which goes over the top, and then our key, and it goes outwards like that, and then our key slots through there. So this panel is to hide the ribbon, so I'm just making sure this is nicely adhered, and in fact if we raise it up then we can hold it and then use the bone folder. But see, it works exactly the same. It's still in the same position, it's just adhering it. I just think it's an easier way. And then this has got two score lines here, so we have a mountain and a valley, and that is to enable there to be a gap here to put the key through. So this fits onto here. So we just want to check that our key will go through, which it does. And then obviously we don't need any glue on this portion, so just make sure that you get glue on the outer edges. we stick that onto here and then onto there. It's always worth just double checking that the key goes through. And then to save time, I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. So I'll be back in a moment with the finished article. See you back in a mo. And here we go, the completed crafty project. I absolutely love this little ribbon and key box. It is so pretty and cute. And on this one I've used the Key to Your Heart sentiment. The other one from the other box is From Me to You. So you can see you can make very different looking boxes using this kit. I mean, this one's sort of quite shabby chic and vintage looking, and then we've got a really elegant one. I'd love to have that sort of sat on my bedside table. It's gorgeous. It's so lovely. Which one do you like best? What colour schemes do you think that you would use? I'd be really interested to know. If you want to pick up one of these for yourselves or any cardstock or goodies to go with it, I'd be really grateful if you would use my affiliate link, which is in the description box below. And also, if you have found value or some tips and techniques in this video, I'd love to hear what they are, and if you could just leave me a like and a comment, because YouTube loves those things and it helps them to show the videos to more people. And as a small sort of growing creator on the rise, those things are really helpful for me. So if you have enjoyed the tutorial and found it useful and you want to just give me some help for free, then that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So I've got a few videos here that might be of interest to you. If not, mooch around on my various playlists that I've got. If you have any questions, as usual, just leave your comments or questions or queries in the comment section and I'll always get back to you. So I will see you again very soon for some more crafty goodness. Bye for now.